Okay, hello. This is episode 8. And I'm sitting here with Allie, one of my best friends.
What up, my girl?
Yeah, and Todd, she's in the background.
Todd's making the reels.
No, but we all went to middle school together. We all went to high school together. And Allie is adventuring on a little adventure of her own.
I am.
And it's fucking awesome. And so why the fuck wouldn't I have her on my podcast? Because this is so fun. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself, and tell us what you're doing and where you're going.
All right. Well, my name is Allison, and I am going to be an au pair in Rome. I literally leave I can check into my flight in almost 24 hours, so that's pretty sick. Yeah, I was working an office job, really not liking this 9 to 5, already graduated. Living with my boyfriend, and I just figured, hey, why not? It's the best freaking time to do so. I got nothing but time and nothing but opportunities, so we're off.
No, yeah, that's so exciting. She literally, I just made an account through Au Pair World, and she called me one day at work, and she was like, I think I'm gonna do that. Like, how'd you do it? What'd you put in your profile? How'd you do it? And I just told her she did it, and she basically shopped for some families. But talk about what happened before how you picked your family, and the family that happened before.
True. Okay, so the family that I originally started talking with is actually the family that I'm going to be living with. They were a family outside of Rome, and we had talked a little bit, but I still wanted to kind of see what other options were out there. So I did talk to a few other families. I interviewed with a family from Spain, a family from London. They just ended up not being the best opportunities. We didn't end up working out, which was fine. And so I went back to my original family and asked if she was still looking for an au pair. So we set up a few calls. I got to talk with her, and she was really awesome, and the kids were amazing. And so made my decision pretty easy.
They're so cute. I'm so excited for you.
They're very cute.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about, but also how you were so bummed about that one family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really was bummed. I thought granted, I did go to school and got a bachelor's degree in child development, so I thought that would kind of give me a leg up, and when looking for au pairs, especially au pairs in America, that a lot of families want to have an English-speaking au pair to improve their children's English. But I just ended up having an interview, and I thought it went really well. I talked to the previous au pair, and she had nothing but amazing things to say. And I had messaged her and let her know that I was ready to move forward, and it just ended up not being the best fit, and they had found somebody else. So things happen for a reason, and now I got matched with a great family, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, and she is about to just be bebopping around like islands. She's going to Sardinia and freaking Ibiza and just gonna be on vacation with this family for 2 months. And it's just so fun. It's just so fun. And I was going to live in Sardinia, and they're actually a blue zone where they live the longest. I learned that in Zac Efron.
They live the longest?
Yeah, they have the longest
lifespan?
Lifespan, yeah.
Dang.
And they're so healthy, and they are just the blue zone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'll let you know what the lifestyle looks like over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I'll come back and
be so good.
Shave a couple years off my life.
Oh my gosh, just going and being on those islands is going to just soaking up all the sun. Yeah, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so how have you felt preparing for this trip?
Well, it's kind of been a whirlwind. The biggest challenge was obviously money and getting a plane ticket over there, because obviously plane tickets are pretty expensive right now. So I believe mine was around $1,260. And then on top of that, also having to figure out living situation while I was gone. I am in a relationship, and I do live with my significant other. I obviously couldn't leave him high and dry to pay almost 4 months worth of rent by himself. So that had to be taken care of before I left. But for the most part, just kind of planning and figuring out what all of the things I need to know about being an au pair before I get there, and all the steps I need to take in order to make sure everything's compliant with COVID, which thank God June 1st they lifted everything, so now I don't have to worry about a COVID test or quarantining or anything like that. So that's kind of been a weight off the chest, but basically just trying to figure it all out and make sure that my first solo trip by myself go smoothly, but
I think you're ready. After seeing we packed today, we came over and we packed and we helped her go through all of her stuff. And
shout out Tatiana.
Yeah, Tot. We all.
I'll tag you in the outfits that I wear.
Yeah, no, I think it's so awesome. Like you have so many moving parts that you had to kind of get over and figure out before you can make this happen. And I'm just like so proud of you that like despite all of that, like you're still gonna go do this, and it's
Thank
so
you.
fun. And
I wouldn't have done it without you, bitch.
I'm so excited. And what's even better is like you fucking know that I'm gonna come out to go see her. No way. So we in August we are gonna go and freaking tear shit up in Europe. We're gonna do Rome, the Amalfi Coast, then go over to Barcelona, go to Amsterdam. Allie's got family in Scotland. Allie's got family in Scotland, and we're gonna end it in Ireland. And I just fucking can't wait,
dude. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a long 3 weeks, but
yeah,
I'm excited.
Anything else you want to add about just like going off, how you're feeling? Because the next time we're gonna move to the future in like 30 seconds, and we'll be in Rome, and I'll be seeing Allie for the first time in like 3 months.
Yeah, to be honest, kind of hitting me in waves. It kind of is a whirlwind that I'm just driving down the road. I'm like, holy shit, I'm living in a completely different country, different language, different family.
Oh my gosh, yeah. How are you feeling about the language barrier?
You know, I'm gonna learn as we go. I'm gonna do my best, but obviously I'm not an expert, so I'm just gonna keep it very, very, very easy.
I feel like when I was in Spain, I would try to like practice my Spanish, but so many people knew English that they were like, just don't even try. I'm like, I would like to get better.
They're like, no,
like, please stop.
I'm not your tutor. I'm not here to help you.
Like, please stop.
Tell me what you want in your drink and then move on.
Yeah. Literally, so I'm just gonna try to like be better before I go.
Do better.
Do better.
Be better.
We're just gonna be better.
Yep, we're gonna just be better.
You're in a relationship, and as I've said before, I don't want to break up with Ty when I go off to travel. And so how do you feel about going long distance, even though you've already been long distance before?
That's true. Well, it's very different now because we have our own separate place and we are sufficient on our own, so it is kind of a different conversation that had to be had just in regards to like bills and things like that. But when it really came down to it, it was not even a question that Corbin wasn't going to be supportive. He had already discussed with me that traveling just wasn't in his forte. It wasn't really something that he was really passionate about, and I told him if that was the case, I was still going to do it, and he had no problem with me wanting to be an experience and do everything that I wanted to do. But a big thing that's kind of come up a lot is every time I bring it up that I'm going to be leaving for 3 months, and although it's so exciting, a lot of the questions I get are, well, how does Corbin feel about that? So you're going to leave Corbin. Like, are you guys going to break up? Are you wanting to, like, go off and live your life and, like, hook up with guys and do things like that? Or is he upset and things like that? But when it really came down to it, I took a look and I was like, I feel like those questions that I'm getting are coming from a very big place of insecurity. And I know I'm secure in my relationship, and I know that I'm trusted and that he wants me to push myself to be better. So it was never a question that he wouldn't want me to experience these things without him, and he wanted me to grow and be a better person. So why wouldn't he want to encourage his significant other to do so? So he's very supportive. He's really excited for me, and he'll be excited for when I get back, but he's just great. He's great.
Well said. That was well said.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. That's literally exactly. Sometimes I have a hard time conveying how, like, my thought process and how I do things, and you said it very well. And I also just feel like I can do the things that I want to go do, like, with being with Ty. Like, I don't, like, obviously when I went out to Oz and, like, I broke up with my boyfriend then, I knew what I wanted Oz to be, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be.
It needed
my
to be.
Traveling going forward, I have no desire to hook up with guys. Like, I literally want to go and have fun experiences. If I can have them with Ty, I can have them with Ty, but I'm not going to not go have them because, like, I have a partner, and I think that's so great.
That should never be the end-all, be-all.
Yeah.
Like, you're your own person first, and you need to be with somebody that supports that and wants that for you as well. But Say lovey.
I love you. Such is life.
Such is life, man.
Oh, how do you feel about packing and all your shit? Like how you chose your clothes? Like, cause we came over, we basically did like the cut of the clothes. She laid out all of her clothes. She had outfits picked out. Like in terms of like packing, you were very strategic when you were like prepping about buying clothes for nannying.
Appreciate that.
Like you were like, okay, I want nanny clothes. I want good clothes. Like you definitely got some cute stuff.
Oh, thank you.
You're
See,
welcome.
my toxic trait is thinking that I need to buy a whole new wardrobe for any trip
She
that I
has
go
so
on.
many clothes.
So when it came down to this, I was like, doing my research. A lot of other au pairs bought a lot of shit while they were there. Do I really want to be that bitch that comes and literally gets to put her luggage on the weight on the scale and it's 10 pounds over? No, probably not. So I was strategic. I Pinterested.
You have one of those things that you can weigh your bag at home.
Yep.
She just has to lift up her bag.
A little weight that you just, if you have arm strength, pull it up.
Yeah.
And you get it done. So I appreciate you and
Yeah.
Tatiana over there helping me pack and eliminate outfits that didn't need to be there. I think we did really good.
Yeah.
I feel like I only have a few more things, but those can be added in tomorrow, and then it'll be off, man.
Yeah, dude, then you're gonna be off.
Soaring flying.
Soaring and flying to Europe. Oh, that's so fun.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna like be scary at times,
Oh, I'm
But
shitting
that's
bricks
okay.
right now. I'm very scared.
but then you're gonna be in Italy.
Like a bagoo.
Pizzeria. As you do, like, what are you most excited about? Like, about going on in this adventure? Like,
Okay, so there's two. There's the selfish reason, and then there's the rational reason of me wanting to go. The selfish reason is obviously I love exploring. I love seeing new places. I love food. So that's kind of like my favorite, like the selfish reason, but the more optimistic and real reason is that I am very excited to work with kids again.
yeah.
And I really missed seeing younger kids and playing with them, and now seeing it in a completely different cultural context is going to be crazy. So I'm just excited, and I miss little children, and I'm ready to get back to it.
I know, that's so exciting. And I remember like talking about before, like also getting out of your like routine, and switching it up, and just like not like just doing something different.
It's definitely gonna improve the mental health overall.
So exciting. Because I remember when I went to Europe, it was such like that culture shock, like the architecture, the history there, like, oh god, it's so rich, it's so cool.
And the food, bro.
Yeah, and the food.
Oh my god. My mom did not know what the Trevi Fountain was. When I tell you, I said, Mom, yeah, I'm gonna go to the Trevi Fountain. She's all, the what? I was like, the most well-known fountain in the world? What do you mean that you don't know what that is?
You gotta go to Coliseum too. That place was incredible. Dude. That was really, really good.
The Coliseum and Pisa, Leaning Tower at Pisa, Lake Como.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good. I'm excited about that.
We could like spend so much time in Italy. Like you can it would be so nice to spend like a good amount of time there.
My only problem is that all of July I'm gonna be somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to really plan about when I'm gonna be able to like explore only Rome or go to Florence and go to Venice. And are we adding Tuscany now, or is it Tuscany near Sorrento?
It's far up, so we would have to take something out. Like Barcelona.
No,
like if we wanted to
I'm
not
okay.
do Barcelona, we could do Tuscany.
No, I'll do Barcelona.
Yeah, me too.
I want to strut like a cheetah girl.
Yeah,
That's what I wanna do.
sure. That's what I want to do.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, well, probably I want to go to the Gothic Quarter. That's where we stayed, and that was really cool. And there was like a huge market that's like in the Gothic Quarter. The Gruel spot, the Sagrada Familia, I would love to do again. Yeah, I'm like so excited to like do everything.
Well, when I tell you that I'm very excited for Edinburgh Castle, because I literally just listened to a Morbid podcast and they did like the spooky castles. Love Brit and Ash. Love them. That is actually Crime Junkie. It's not Brit and Ash.
Oh.
It's Ash and Elena.
Allie's a fan favorite of all, but her favorite is Morbid.
Yeah, Morbid's the shit. But basically, they're saying, I don't know if anybody watches Reign, you know, the Mary Queen of Scots.
Oh, yeah, I never finished that.
So there is a ghost of a grey woman at Edinburgh Castle that walks the grounds, and they think it is Mary Queen of Scots' mother, Marie de Guise.
Oh.
Because apparently, during the time that she had passed away, she's originally from France, and there was a siege going on from England to Scotland for the castle, and so they had to keep her body unburied for 9 months in the castle, and they couldn't get it back to France, and so they think that she's pissed about that, and she's just walking around.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm just like, I can get through summer and look forward to that, and that is just gonna be such a good trip. I'm gonna hunker down and save my money.
Yeah.
And I'm not buying any shit. I'm just gonna do some fun, cool shit with my tent.
I'm gonna do some fun, cool shit with my tent.
The next time you hear for us, I'll be in Rome with Allie, and we're gonna have the time of our life.
Ooh, you'll get a full-on life update.
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring it around. We're gonna bring it
around.
Bring it around town. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Hello. What is up? I'm not in Rome with Allie right now, but I'm going to be there in just a couple of weeks. So I just thought that there's just been a lot of prep work and shit that like we've been doing that I think would be very helpful for people who listen and would want to plan a trip. Would like know just kind of like what's up and like what's going on, because like doing a 3-week trip in Europe, like we're doing shit and we're going places, and like it's like adding up. I'm like, shit, this is gonna be a pretty penny trip. And I was just like, you know what, let me give out how much I've been spending and how much like basically it has cost me so far to do 3 weeks in Europe in August, because it's summertime and that is more expensive. So that has just been an added thing as well, but we're doing good. And then I just have been doing like some work stuff and been kind of doing all my stuff, just doing what I do. That's what I do. So when I podcasted with Al's, we were talking about going to Barcelona and doing like this, and this. Well, from now, she's been there. It's like middle of July almost, whatever. And so she's been there for a little bit, and she's just having so much fun. Like, I'm so excited to like see her and just like hear about all of it, even though we have been chatting like all the time. But she's definitely doing her shit and like having the best time ever and like experiencing some good shit. And so yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited to travel with her. For our itinerary, we have decided that I bought my ticket to Rome, and so my round trip ticket to Rome was $1,584.27. So that is through Delta, and that was from Sacramento to Rome round trip. So yeah, that's pretty like flights total. Oh no, just kidding. Whoopsies. That no, 1,500 or 1,584.27. That was the total of all of our flights. Just kidding. So my flight from Sacramento to Rome was $1,238.57. And then we're taking the Euro train pass from, okay, so we're going to Rome. I'm meeting Allie in Rome. And then from Rome, we're going to hang out there for like a day. And then we're going to Sorrento. And we're going to stay 4 days in Sorrento and hit like Capri, Postinio, have Sorrento as a day. And like hang out down by the Amalfi Coast. And then from there, we're going to fucking train it and so we basically took out Barcelona because we were like, that is just not in our path. Like that's us going all the way to the left and down. And then because we wanted to go to Amsterdam and then coming all the way back up and going to Amsterdam. So we were like, okay, how do we get all the way down from Italy up to Amsterdam? How do we, like, let's break it up. We were looking at maps. I was just like, you gotta research. Like this part of the trip is like researching. Like you gotta fucking know your shit, what you're gonna do. So we were looking at maps, like where do we want to go? And I'm like, fuck yeah, Switzerland, hell yeah. Like France, fuck yeah, like let's do it. So we found this town in Switzerland called Bern, and so we're gonna go from Sorrento to Bern and stay 2 nights there, and then we're gonna train from Bern to Colmar, which is like a little Venice in France, but it's like obviously a little different than Venice, but it's like really cute, and they have like all these colorful buildings, and so we're really excited to do that. And then from Colmar we'll do Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam fly to Scotland. And so our Euro train pass, it was $396 for 2. Yeah, so it was $396 for both of ours. And then when we were flying to Scotland, that flight, my own flight, was $88.70. And then from Scotland, we're going to go to Dublin, and then that flight costs $53. And then from Ireland back to Rome, that was $204. So total, our flights were $1,584.27. The Euro train pass was $198, and that was just for me. So Euro train pass, $198, and then flights total, like everything, was $1,584.27. So that's transportation. Feeling good about that. And that also includes our bags, which we were just like, fuck. Like, you think that you're getting a good deal, and then you gotta pay like hell of fucking money for your bags. And I'm just like, I just don't think I could do just a carry-on. But who knows? Because I have like a good like under the seat bag. I don't think I could. No, I need my backpack. I need to check bag. So we gotta pay for all our bags and shit. So that sucked. You gotta do what you gotta do. But either still, I just feel like they're high because it's like August and summer. So yada yada yada. So for accommodation in Sorrento, we're staying at the Florida Hostel and Hotel. I haven't paid for them yet, and because like when you reserve them, you can like wait to pay, and so I just put them in euros. So everything for the transportation, that was in dollars, but the accommodation for right now, I'm just gonna say the euros because the exchange rate is changing, and I want to wait until I like fully pay and it charges my card to say like the exact like American dollars. But because I'm doing this right now and I just haven't charged my card yet, you're gonna get it in euros, and then I'll update later. So we are staying at the Florida Hostel and Hotel, and that was €344 for a mixed dorm, and it's like a 6-person mixed dorm. And then in Bern we have a hostel, and this one is a 6 all girls, and that was $97.50 or 97 euros and 50 cents. And then in Colmar, we're staying at a hotel, and because it was just like the same, like cheaper, and we were like, why not stay in a hotel? We're staying at the Hotel Arc and Ciel Colmar, and that was 69 euros. And then in Amsterdam, we're staying at the St. Christopher's at the Winston Hostel, and that was 377 euros. And then in Dublin, we're staying in a hostel, and it was 298 euros. And then for those two hostels, it's like a 6 and all girls. So the total for the accommodation is 1,185 euros and 55 cents, and then each is 592 euros and 77 cents. So yeah, so I know that like some people are like, no, like sorry, that was kind of aggressive, but like I've just talked to people who just like don't plan things out, and I'm just like, you know what, there's just like a fuck ton of people in this world, and I just feel like traveling right now is like kind of hot, like obviously like hot, it's summertime, and August is like it's a high season, go and do these things. And I was like, if like these things were like selling out when we were buying these things, so like as much as I would love to just like go by the seat of my pants, like how Ashley did in like Asia, like not really know where you're going for that time, that's like one thing, but like I just felt like I just couldn't do it with this trip. Like I just feel like very like prepared, and like oh, like I know at least, because like that's just my thing, like I don't like not knowing where I'm gonna sleep, and like, which I think I would be okay if it was like a longer, like obviously I'm not gonna like plan out like a 4-month trip type thing, but this is 3 weeks, like I would have known where I'm staying, and it's like a busy time, so we planned it out, and I'm just happy that we did it. And then yeah, so I'm like freaking so excited. And then like other things, like, and just like me and Allie, so like if you like are gonna like plan a trip with like your freaking friends or whatever, like share a Google Doc, make an itinerary, and put each place, put where you want to stay, because like even before you go, like who just like goes not fucking doing any research? Like I just feel like that's like nuts, because there's just, I feel like I would miss out on cool ass shit if I didn't research it. And so I shared a Google Doc with Allie. We put our dates of where we want to stay, what we want to do, like also how we're going to get places, just like being more prepared, because it's just like when you're not prepared in like different countries, I just feel like that makes you kind of like more of a target, because like you just get like, if you know your shit and you know what you're doing, like you're not going to be like lost looking around or like having to ask like random ass people for help. And so I just feel like, why not? The internet, your laptop is a plethora of knowledge. So let's just be prepared and get shit done. So I'm really freaking excited. I'm not going to go over like this whole Google Doc because like what fun would that be? But I did want to like say like where we were going and like how much I've been spending so far, because like that's really important, because I know a lot of blog posts will just be like, this is how much your average spend, or here's places that I recommend, or and maybe some people do put like exact dollars, but whatever. I wanted to share exactly how much money I am spending to prepare for this trip. And I really want to have my accommodation paid for before I leave. Like I'm working on paying off my flights, and hopefully I'll have that accommodation paid off before I leave too. Because to kind of like transition, I have been like fucking in my brain, I'm in grind mode. Like I'm just telling myself, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, because I don't want to have to really work while I'm on this trip. Like we are going to be busy, like fucking doing and enjoying life. And I want to work as little as possible. So what I'm doing is I am increasing my hours for my law firm because I'm part-time there. And so I'm adding like an extra 15 hours to my week. Last month, I worked hella for my magazine, got really far ahead to prepare. So then in this month, because I worked hella hard for the magazine in June, then in July, didn't have to work as much for the magazine, doubled my hours for the firm. So now I'm kind of just like crediting those hours. And so then when that time comes in Europe, I'm like, okay, I already worked those hours. And then I'm just going to do that. And so taking care of work, taking care of business, because I want to enjoy myself. But I'm also going to leave like a little bit of work because like those fucking train rides like are going to be hella fucking long, and just like travel time, and like give me something to do, and like also not like burn myself out in these weeks, because like I just like this is what it would be like to be like full time, and I'm just like, fuck this. We need a new society system. Like people need time for their fucking selves. Like, it's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Everything's so fucking expensive right now, and everybody's just working hard, and it's bullshit. So I don't even know. But anyways, I'm excited to go travel and bebop around and explore some things. And I think that is kind of all I've got as like an update. And I don't like my backpack, and I'm debating if I want to spend the money to get a new one. I don't think I do, but I'm gonna think about it. So if I do that, I will definitely update about the whole backpack situation. But so far so good. I am doing like, I've given myself a spending budget of like what I could do to like buy things for Europe. Like I need like a backpack, like a solid like little backpack that I can put my laptop in, that is like safety, like pickpocket proof, like just like a good backpack for me to like have on like those travel days, to like have my laptop accessible. And so that is something I bought. And I had a good time at Target today because I got some really fun shorts there. I was like, yes, these were a good find. So, but yeah, getting really freaking excited. Gonna have like a lot of freaking fun. And that is my update. So now, the next time you hear from us, or me and Als, I will be visiting her, and I will have done the long trek over there. So, life is good. Hope everyone is well. And talk to you soon. Finally made it to Rome.
Welcome.
I know, it was so lovely. So good. I don't even remember what I podcasted last about my update and just like what is going on, but packing was good. Packed way too much shit, like I always do. And I had all the intentions of doing a packing list of when I was packing, but then I didn't do that shit, and I got to like doing my pants and then doing my shorts, and then I called Allie because she was packing too, and then I just stopped doing it. But then I thought, okay, now when I go home I can really evaluate my packing and give like a solid packing list and tell you guys like what I liked, what I didn't like, the shit that I brought that I didn't wear, and all that good stuff. But overall, the travel days were good. It was like a 12-hour flight from LAX, so packed all my shit, said goodbye to the fam,
and off we were. I did get a SIM card for my phone. I did SIM core. I did them, and so far so good. So I'll put that all in like the show notes or our itinerary, because mine and Allie's itinerary is freaking awesome.
Dude, we did the best we ever done with planning anything.
Like, so good. And I'm so happy we did it, because Alice has mentioned that she's literally met people not knowing what they're doing. They're just going by the seat of their pants, and like, that's really great, and love that for people. I just can't do that.
Waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy.
And it's peak season. It's August right now. There's no way that we could go do that and be able to do what we want. Like, for example, when we go to Amsterdam, we want to do the Anne Frank house. We want to fuck up the Van Gogh Museum. So we can't do that unless we buy tickets, and those sell out like weeks in advance. Exactly. So I just recommend, like, we enjoyed the planning time too. Like, everything that we planned, like, we loved it. We loved researching. We shared a Google Doc, and we just went to town. I color coded it. I did a nice font.
The font.
I love that font. I do it
not the right color green.
I know. I was trying to fuck up the color code. I was like, that's not the right, because I love pastels. So
My bad.
Like, do the right. Or when you would add shit, you wouldn't put the right fonts, and I have to go back and change it.
To my defense, I was doing it on my phone, and I was just trying to add whatever I had in my journal just to make sure that it got in there before I completely forgot what page of my journal I was on. So thank God that I did. Or else we would be headed to Scotland, Amsterdam, Dublin.
Who knows where we'd be?
Without any plan.
But, yeah, so for me, my side of things, travel date was good. I flew Delta, loved Delta. Packing was good. My backpack, everything was just solid. Like, I flew from Sacramento to LAX straight to Rome. I recommend anybody that can choose their seat, pick it near the exit, because I was really worried, because I got in a car accident a couple days ago, and I just needed that extra comfort, and I was just trying to, like, not be in the middle or doing that crazy ass shit, and I just got really lucky with my seat. And it was like 2 people were in front, and then it was 3 rows in the back, and the third seat next to the window, I didn't have anybody in front of me, and it was just amazing. I had so much room, so it was great. But Alice, I want to talk about just like your au pair experience and everything.
Man. What do you want to know? What do we want to start with? Because it's been a wild 2 months.
Okay, well, let's just start with how, like, coming over here and, like, meeting your family for the first time, the language barrier, getting, like, just settled.
Okay, so when I first got here, it was definitely... It took a lot of adjustment, for sure. One, the time change. That was something very difficult for me to get a hold on, especially with how late Europeans stay up. That was a big adjustment, especially from going from sleeping till 7 a.m. to now wanting to sleep until 11. So that was kind of a big chunk of my day already gone trying to adjust with. When I first got here, the girls were really excited to meet me, things like that. But then once I started to kind of get settled the first few weeks, it kind of became a struggle of language barrier, of behaviors, of different personalities, of comfort, of trust. Because in my experience coming in and working with kids, I've done this many times before, and it's been easier in the first few weeks to get kind of a grip and an idea of what the time with those kids are going to be like. But here it's completely different because we speak 2 completely different languages. But from probably, I would say, halfway through my trip is when things kind of started to take a turn, and the girls started to open up to me a lot more. They were speaking with me a lot more, and by the end of my trip, I'm sitting here crying in the club, not wanting to leave because I love them so much.
I know, they're not here right now. She was literally sitting on her phone showing me all these cute videos of them.
I love them. They've literally, I cannot say anything bad about them. It's just, this is probably the best scenario that could have ever happened, is getting with this family and getting to know them. And we have had our struggles throughout this trip, to say the least. We've had my host family lose a family member. The girls have had COVID. We've had the house robbed. So it's been a very intense.
It's not all peaches and rainbows, but
it's definitely, they've made me feel like part of the family, and I'm really sad that I have to leave because I'm gonna miss them.
Aww. And like, just a side note, their house is fucking fat. Like, oh my gosh. Like, to side note, like, they are like still building, and like, so there's like little construction, not everything's finished, but holy shit. When I rocked up to this place, I was like, you've been living in luxury. The pool, we instantly got to the pool because after I landed in Rome, we had a train. We somehow missed the bus, so then we Ubered. So it was just like it's been a long 2 days.
Yeah.
But, I also had jet lag pills, which have helped immensely. We'll figure out when I actually try to go to sleep tonight, like, how that works out. I'm just gonna be, like, wide-eyed looking
With
at
no
Allie.
weed.
I'm like,
No weed.
I know, no weed. Oh, I was too scared. The Russian lady that got 9 years, I was like, and my parents were like, you better not bring anything over there.
You're like, okay.
I'm like, okay, you got it.
For sure. I'll have to wait for Amsterdam.
Yeah, Amsterdam, you got it over there. So yeah, like her whole setup is just like amazing. And so that's why when I like think about like girls that want to travel and guys too, like obviously like being a nanny is not just strictly for women. It's just dominated in that way. But this is just such a sick setup. Like your job, your house, just the security, having a family in a new country that like cares for you, looks after you.
Traveling with them has been like,
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Like this girl.
So, the whole purpose behind me being an au pair for this family was for the sole purpose of traveling with this family. So, my host mom, she's amazing, but to be fair, these girls would not be doing well on their own with just traveling. She needed the extra help, and so my role was to basically come along, help with getting them boarded on the plane, keeping them entertained.
Allie just told me that at one point another little girl socked the other little girl
Oh my God.
right when they were boarding.
As we're going through, after we scanned the passports, boarding the plane, socked in the face, crying down the runway, like ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, so the 2 vacations because let's be fair, Italians love to vacation in the summer months.
Who wouldn't?
Oh my gosh, I wish America did these
Like,
things.
why can't everybody just take 2 months off? I think
Right?
everybody deserves it.
Mental
Everybody,
health.
yeah, I think everybody deserves a vacation once a quarter.
Yep.
Every
Fair.
season, somebody should be able to go somewhere for like a week.
Yes. 4 weeks. Like, I mean, I'm down. Everybody
Why not?
deserves that.
Why not?
But-
Social construct is just our doing and
Our
doing.
downfall at this point.
We create the social construct. Let's just recreate it.
Or just move to Italy.
Yeah, let's just go.
Okay, but
Anyways,
anyways,
no,
back
we're back.
to what we're talking about. But basically, the 2 trips that I was going to be going on with my host family was spending, I believe it was 12 days in Sardinia, which is an island off the coast of Italy, and then spending another 11 days in Formentera, which is an island off the coast of Ibiza, Spain. So, to say the least, even though I was working, if you consider work playing on the beach all day with the girls, taking midday naps for 3 hours, waking up and playing on the beach again, going home.
Oh, and sneaking in a concert.
Oh, I did do that.
This bitch went and saw Calvin Harris on Ibiza.
I did. I took
And
it fair.
like a boss-ass bitch that she is, she went by herself and had the best time
the
ever.
best time. Met all these solo travelers who were just doing the same thing. Found my group of people to spend the night with, and by the end of the night, I was sober enough to get myself into a taxi, onto a ferry, and then onto another taxi, and then home by 2 a.m. So... But honestly, I don't consider this work. I consider this just living with them and enjoying
And
being
helping
part of
out,
their family
yeah.
and helping out. Like, I had no problem going and pushing the stroller and walking down the beach, or having to help the girls get ready to go out for dinner. I'd be doing my makeup and the girls would come and knock on the door and want me to do their makeup.
Oh,
So-
that's really cute.
yeah, I'd do their
That's so
highlighter, I'd do
cute.
their blush, they'd want a little bit of lip gloss, being the DJ in the car so the girls would stop screaming about when we'd be there, and being the gamekeeper and keeping all of the games at the table for dinners. And to be fair, I got all of my meals paid for,
Yeah.
plus my alcohol, plus a free place to stay.
Yeah, and plus your expenses when you
Covered.
went were covered.
My
So
host mom paid for both of my flights, and their family has a house in Sardinia, and they have their own house in Formentera on the beach. Both on the beach. Like, absolutely.
Mwah. This bitch
chef's
was hanging
kiss.
on a yacht.
On a yacht, yep. That was
Like,
I just genuinely...
left her 9-to-5 job to go hang out on a yacht. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't do this?
I genuinely could not say anything better about what I've done And
No, I love that. I'm so happy. I think about when we like first sat down to like chat about you leaving and everything, and the just uncertainty, but the excitement, the adventure, and like to have it be like now the end of your au pairing, but the beginning of our backpacking trip. Like it's crazy.
It's gonna be a fucking time.
I know, I cannot wait. I don't even want to like really chat about like where we're going right now, because then I just want it to be like a little fun adventure. Like
Pop up.
Yeah, we'll just pop up. So you'll just like when each one of these little things end, you'll just know where we are when you listen, when you get there. Okay, you love the family. How do you feel about being in Rome? Like, would you have picked like a different spot? Because I know like that has been like a...
So, yeah. Technically, I'm not I'm technically in Rome, but I am on the very outskirts of Rome. So any attempt to getting to all the big sites like the Trevi Fountain, the Colosseum, the Pantheon, Vatican City.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's a trek. It is a trek. And I don't have a car at the moment, so I've been relying on buses, on trains, on Ubers, on walking. I have walked more in these last 2 months than I probably ever thought I walked. And it's very funny because people from other countries that I meet, they ask, oh, is California like Sacramento a walkable city, or is Loomis or Rockland or Roseville a walkable city? And I was like, no. People drive everywhere.
You need a car. I don't even know how to use public transportation in the place that I live.
Neither do I.
I wouldn't even know.
But in terms with Rome, although I think it's beautiful and I definitely think I'm so glad I got to see all the things that I've seen, there definitely becomes like a limit. I loved it, but I also was ready to move on to something different, which is why I planned all these separate trips on the weekends that I did have available time, where I planned trips to Naples, I planned trips to Florence, I planned trips to Lake Como. So getting to go and see other places in Italy while I had the free time, because I had weekends off most of the times when I wasn't traveling with my host family. I definitely think I saw what I needed to see in Rome, and although I really love my host family and I want to come back, I love Rome, but it's just, I think I'm finished.
Yeah, no, exactly. I felt
it.
the same way when I was telling Allie, like, we're meeting here. I told her, I was like, I do not feel the need to really spend a lot of time in Rome. Like, Allie also had met a friend named Tia, who was also like, I'm done, I'm over Rome.
To be fair, Tia, she's in a year-long contract.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even necessarily a contract, but more so of a commitment. And she is living with a host family that is in the city center, but still quite a ways away from things. And she's just been struggling a lot with the kids' temperament and her living situation. She is working in a apartment building, so her host family's on the 4th floor and she's on the bottom floor, and she was getting very, very sick for a while, and come to find out there was mold in her room, and her host family wasn't very proactive about getting rid of it, so she was constantly sick, not feeling very well, things like that.
My God, that's serious.
Exactly. And on top of that, just having kids that are just not wanting to listen to you, not wanting to hang out with you, because that was something I definitely experienced when I first got here, because you are a stranger to them. You're living in their house. They don't know you. They don't know how to talk to you. They speak a different language, and so when I first got here, I definitely felt out of place, and on top of trying to be there to teach the girls English and to practice English with them, it's very hard when you can't understand what they're saying to you. So like my biggest regret is not learning more Italian before I've gotten here. But once I was able to kind of break down that barrier, and they didn't see me more as an outsider, but kind of they're gonna be here for a little bit, and once I started going on trips and being around their family and friends and being there on a part of their daily routine, is when they finally were like, oh, like there was a turning point when I was in Formentera, and I went on, I believe the concert was on a Friday night, and so I was planning on leaving for Ibiza around 4 o'clock that day, so I'd left the beach around 2. Went home, got ready, went on the ferry, came back from Formentera after the concert. I slept most of the morning, and my host family had like gone and they went out to the beach, and so my host mom's like, I know you need to recover, sleep, do what you need to do it, exactly, recover. So I had my day to myself, and I remember getting a text from my host mom, and she was like, the girls won't stop talking about you. They're like, Dove Atiton? Like, where is she? Like, things like that. And my 2-year-old, love her to death, but she likes to do this thing, which is also something Tia experienced, where the Italian kids would call you ugly in Italian. They would be like, Atiton brutta, which is ugly. And I was like, oh, so when I first heard it, I was like, oh, so you're calling me ugly. that's really nice. Like, thank
Oh,
you. And she would laugh, and it was like, I know she's 2, but like, it's so much my feelings.
Okay.
So,
Little shit.
for the longest time, she was just like, "A ti ton bruta." And
I
so,
know. Allie would call me, she's like, the kids are calling me ugly.
like, what am I supposed to say? And so, that day, the girls came back. They were so excited to see me. And my 2-year-old looks me dead in the eye. She's like, "A ti ton bella." Called me beautiful, and I was like, I'm gonna cry. And my husband was like, this is when I knew we were in trouble for when you leave, is when they finally kind of flipped the switch and started loving on me and giving me affection and wanting to be around me, because like that was the biggest thing when I first got here. I just felt so lonely and like out of place, and I have a degree in child development. I love working with kids. That's what I'm good at. So coming here and like not feeling good about something I've known how to do my entire life, I was just like, whoa, this is scary. Am I supposed to be here? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? But it just genuinely was a warm-up period I needed. And now that it's almost 3 months in and they finally have warmed up, I have to leave. And I'm just like, no, stop. They're just starting to get cute.
Yeah, but now she has, like, pour more soap on. You already got some wine. I can completely relate. Like, it took me, like, a good amount of time to feel comfortable because they're strangers. You have to get to know them. They have to get to know you. So it is, like, that little, like, oh, shit, like, you don't know me. I'm living in your house. I'm, like...
And
I
that's
think
their safe space, too.
Yeah.
Like, they're used to being themselves and doing whatever they want. But, like, you meet them in a school setting, it's completely different than them being able to, like, stomp up to their room if they're pissed at you or, like, yell things at you, like, be mean to you because it's their space. Like, you're invading their space.
So yeah, okay, so switching gears, well, not really, just going to a new topic. How was traveling alone? Like, your first solo trips, hostels, public transportation. I also want to get a list of all of your apps that you use. I've already started it on our Google Doc, but something that I was trying to find when I was researching was, like, best apps for Europe. And maybe I just didn't look hard enough, but I literally just wanted, like, a list, and I just got, like, a very broad travel list, but I was like, no, like, your specific Europe, like, apps, like, the apps that you, like, on, like, Omeo, the Trenitalia, I know you use this orange app. Move it. I gotta download
Free
that
now. One. Free Now is the taxi app. They do use Uber here scarcely, but in regards to traveling by myself and being my own solo companion on all of my adventures and just somehow meeting people while I was at my places, let's kind of start off with how I would get into Rome to begin with. So to begin with, I would usually, in the very few first weeks of me being here, my host mom would drop me off at the train station. I'd ride the train into, it was more so of like a cable car, if I'm being completely honest. It was like kind of
like a trolley?
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird type of train, but it was called Saccarube, and it would drop me off about like 15 minutes from the Trevi Fountain. So it was pretty close into like the city center. And my first day, I made the terrible, terrible mistake of wearing these Birkenstocks.
Oh my god, yeah.
So my first day in Rome, I'm so excited. I get there super early, take pictures in front of the Trevi. I'm supposed to meet my friend Tia, who we had just talked about. She's from New Zealand.
How'd you meet Tia?
I met her on okay, so basically before I came here, I joined a few Facebook groups of girls that were au pairing in Rome or au pairing in Italy at the same time that I was, and then from there we created a WhatsApp a WhatsApp group chat, and we would kind of message each other when we were gonna be there, things like that. And so I had mentioned doing a trip, wanting to do my first trip, and Tia was kind of like, yeah, like I'm down, like let's get together and plan it. So that first day in Rome, I was so excited. I walked from the Trevi to the Colosseum to the Pantheon, all over the place. Only like 2 hours in, and I realized I am getting the worst blisters of my entire life. So when I tell you, I walked to 3 separate stores looking for shoes and ended up at a New Balance and buying $100 shoes just so I could, because if I didn't find shoes, I was gone. I was going home. There was no point. Like, I wasn't going to be able to do it. But I ended up finding shoes, meeting Tia, and Tia's been, like, my number one friend here. She's the one that we read the same books, we like the same things, we hang out. Like, she is probably, like, one of my favorite people that I've met traveling, like, in Rome. She's been one of my kind of confidants, and we talk all the time, things like that. But kind of just navigating around Rome has definitely been a trial and error. We would switch to going to Trenitalia and going to certain train stations that would take us directly into the city, trying to figure out which trains leave at what time, the buses, even the metro. Oh my god, the metro. When I tell you that my first like night out in Rome, where I stayed out until maybe like 10 or 11, and I thought that the trains stopped going around 1. I walked all the way back to the train only to be told that the train stopped at 11.
Oh.
I remember sitting in front of the train station bawling. How am I gonna get home? It's a 25-minute drive into the city center. It's 11 o'clock. I don't want to wake up my host family. What the fuck am I gonna do?
But side note, if it came down to it, you could have called them, which is such a good backup. But obviously you don't want to do that. But just the essence of au pairing and traveling is that.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Figure shit out. But in that situation, if it came down to it, Alice also could have called her host family.
I could have. I got to the point where sitting there crying, called my boyfriend. I was like, I don't know what to do. He's like, what are you talking about? What's going on?
Where are you?
Mind you, this is my first time being like drunk in Rome on Aperol spritzes. I had been sitting at a cafe for 2 hours waiting for Tia, and I was just downing spritzes, people watching, eating bruschetta, like vibing. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, obviously Aperol spritzes are some Prosecco, and Prosecco makes me either really emotional or really sleepy, and that night I was emotional. So I had to call an Uber, and it was like one of those Uber vans. That was the only one that was available. It wasn't like a 4-door, no, it was like an 8-person Uber that I took by myself. 90 euros later. 90 euros later, I end up at home. So my first few weeks in Rome, navigating that, rough.
When'd you get locked out of the house?
Oh, that was my first day in Rome. So that was like the night before I ended up having to call that Uber. But basically my host family had left. They went to their parents' house. I'd forgot my fucking key like an idiot, and I was locked out. Tried to talk to one of the workers, didn't speak a lick of English. My phone was at 4%. I called Lexi sitting in the garage.
And her phone died?
My phone died, and I sat there for another 30 minutes until they came home.
Oh man.
So my first few weeks, rough. Really rough with just any sort of traveling. But as the weeks went on, I started to learn, started to use my apps a lot more religiously, was able to plan ahead, which is something I probably should have done from the beginning. And so that's more so just getting around Rome. But in regards to traveling to the separate cities that I've gone to, I mean...
Yeah, what did you do? You did Lake Como?
Lake Como, Florence, and Naples. So Naples was the first one that I went to with Tia. Dude, I'm not even gonna get into what happened that night. Basically, little snippet, met up with these girls that we had in our group chat. They were literally awful. Like, they were just so obnoxious, and like we couldn't even get a drink. Like, they kept passing all the bars, and me and Tia had walked an hour and a half to meet them, and we were like, so where's my drink? Yeah. Like, I'm done. To the point where they walked another direction, we ducked and ran the other way.
Dipped.
Shit. And then we had to be at the bus station at 7 a.m. And so we were up at 5:50.
Man.
Got to the bus station, did a 3.5-hour bus to Naples, and that was the first time we've both stayed in a hostel. It was a mixed hostel. It was six people, I believe. And the first 2 people that we met in there did not speak a lick of English, so that was really fun. But me and Tia basically got there. A lot of the hostels in Europe, they have a set scheduled time for you to check in, but you still are able to leave your bags, to have them locked up, things like that. So that's what we did. We walked around the city, got to experience a few things, met a sweet girl from Australia, had dinner, things like that. So that was kind of like the first hostel experience. Like, it was all right. Like, it was kind of a standard, reminded me of a college dorm, like bunk beds, and like people didn't really get along, didn't really talk. It was kind of just like, we're all here to sleep and then leave the next day. My second hostel that I stayed in was probably one of my favorites. It was in Florence. I basically stayed in a remodeled monastery. I read all of the reviews for the hostels in Florence, and this one had the #1 best view. Reviews, not views. Well, also views. Let me get into that part. But basically, it was said in the reviews, it's gonna be a long walk up to the top of this hill. There's a bus that takes you from Florence. I took a bus by myself. I then took the trolley into the city, and then took a bus that took me to the very end of where the buses all ended. And it was a 1.5 mile walk straight uphill. Straight uphill. When I tell you, I was sweating, I was out of water, I thought I was gonna die, until I finally walked into this remodeled monastery where the nicest man I've ever met, his name was Ferdinando, he owns this place, and he was like very just calm, and he's like, hello Allison, would call me by my name, showed me around the whole place, and it was just like the most beautiful and most intimate hostel I've ever seen, or even place that I've ever been, just with involving like people from all over the place being able to just meet and end up getting dorm together. And so I was put into a 5-dorm all-girl room, but it was 2 separate rooms, so 3 girls in one room, 2 girls in another room. So I was put into the 2-girl room, and I was by myself for a while. I unpacked, I opened all the windows to a rolling field of gardens and the view of the entire city of Florence. You could see everything from up there, the most beautiful sunset. And then my roommates came in, and they were both girls from Australia who had literally just landed in Rome that day, had trained from Rome to Florence, and ended up in Florence. And the atmosphere of this hostel, I cannot say anything better about this hostel. It was very intimate. There was about maybe 20 to 30 guests that were able to fit in the premises, and each night they had a pasta and dinner themed night that if you would like to participate, you just paid, I believe it was €9 for wine and dinner, and they would cook it and put it on a big family style table, and everybody in the hostel would just sit and watch on the balcony and watch the sunset and eat dinner together. And oh my god, like, I have never met so many people that were just so happy to be in one place and to meet each other and to exchange their stories and to talk to one another. Like, it was amazing. I wish I would have spent more time there. If you ever want to stay there, I believe it's the Estella Bello. You'll be able to tell by the reviews and the pictures on Hostel World what it's all about. But then the most recent place that I've stayed in a hostel was Lake Como. And Lake Como, I have a lot of regrets about how I ended up at Lake Como. But after spending almost 2 weeks with my host family in Sardinia, I just was ready I needed a little bit of me time. And Lake Como is one of my number one places that I really wanted to see, just based on how beautiful it was and everything about it. And I decided my friend Tia couldn't go with me. It was a lot more expensive to be in Lake Como just because of the atmosphere in the area. It's a very expensive and bougie and rich place. And so the hostel there was a little bit more expensive. I believe it was $80 a night, or €80, which is a little bit on the higher side for hostels. And it was the only hostel in Como. So I decided I was gonna get a train there, which in retrospect was around €75 when I first originally bought it. But then on that fateful day, I made the worst mistake I could have ever made, and I booked it for the Rome Termina. Okay, so my train was supposed to be at 8 a.m. I believe. I'm on the train by 7 o'clock. I'm headed towards the station. We have a few delays, and I'm freaking out thinking that I'm gonna miss my train. Well, I was headed to the Rome Tiburtina. I was not headed to the Rome Termina like my ticket had told me where to go. So I ended up at a completely different train station. By the time we got there, my train had already gone. So I had to pay €100 to get on the next train to be on my way to Como. My anxiety during that time frame, oh my god, I wanted to cry. Well, I did cry. And then my mom and my boyfriend so lovingly sent me money because of how stupid I was. I think they felt bad because of how stupid I was. But I get on the train. I end up in the Milan Central train station, which I can tell you is a fucking shit show. It is hot. It's disgusting. There's too many fucking people. And then I get back on the train to Como. And once I finally get to Como, I start to check into my hostel. And this guy next to me, he strikes up a conversation. He speaks English. We just start talking. He tells me he's from Texas. And the guy checking us in, he's like, oh, you guys are roommates. I was like, oh, cool. Lovely. Sounds great. And so we end up going and riding a trolley in Como up to the very top to this beautiful little town. We find this restaurant about like a 1.5 mile walk, and it's overlooking all of Como, and we get a few drinks, and then we come back, and then I find out that my hostel's also a bar, and my hostel was having a DJ. So we get to the hostel. It's like partly outside, partly inside, and there's a DJ playing. There's hella people there. We still had our free drink little cards, because a lot of hostels you get your free drink card when you first get in.
you get a lot of deals through your hostel.
Dude, you get like a free drink, free breakfast. Granted, free breakfasts aren't really that great, but
yeah,
I mean, it's food. If you just need like especially in
especially if you're just
Italy.
trying to survive.
Yeah, especially if like
Free meal, free food, it's free food.
Free food, man. And so me and him kind of just get a few drinks. We hang out. I was just kind of done by this point. I kind of wanted pizza really bad, walked around by myself. And then I went back into my room, and we found out who our 2 other roommates who were these 2 amazing women. 2 amazing women. Her name was Paige. She was from Liverpool. And then Mia. One of them. Mia. I think it was Mia. But she was from California.
Oh, sweet.
And so it was us 3 girls and then our little guy friend we were just talking the shit, hanging out, explored Como together. And then us 3 girls literally went to dinner that night after exploring Como and just talked shit about America for like the whole dinner. Just explaining to our cute little English friend what is fucked up about America.
Because I got the same thing when I was in Australia. The view of America from outsiders is not great.
Not good.
And, like, that's just, like, us traveling and receiving that feedback from other people. Like, we obviously have our own opinions about the country where we're from. But it's quite interesting to hear other people and their view of America as outsiders. And so I just like to tell people I'm from California, because a lot of people love California.
Exactly.
And
that's all I say.
yeah.
Well, I'm from California. And they're like, oh, America. And I was like,
No.
Nope, just California.
Which is not like Cali's. It just sounds better to other people because they like the persona of Cali.
Yeah, the persona of America. Like, when I tell you that me and these 2 girls, we sat there at dinner blowing this girl's mind about everything. Like, we were banging through topics, me and this girl from California, because, like, she knows what it's like. We have the same views.
Yeah.
Like, it was very just telling her about what's been going on the past few years in the country. Like, her jaw was on the floor. Like, she was completely and utterly just, like, shocked and was just so respectful, like, asking questions and being very just, like, curious. Because, I mean, you think about it, like, I feel like people in America have a very sheltered view of how we do things back home. And it's just, like, you get out here and you meet people from all over the world and you hear their perspectives about, like, how things go in their countries and how things work and how people are, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, we're not always right.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I just think that, like, a lot of people have a problem when they're proven, or when they're just, like, wrong in a situation. And I just think as if I don't ever have a problem being wrong. I can accept being wrong. And I always ask people, well, like, change my opinion, show me a new perspective, like, teach me something, grow my knowledge, like, make me think, or not make me, but, like, show me a new way of thinking from the knowledge that you have. And then with that knowledge, I can either change my perspective, decide you're just full of shit, or be like, thank you for that information. Like, glad we had this conversation. I just think that you should just be able to
Respectful. But
be
also
respectful.
challenge.
Yeah, you could be respectful and challenge somebody's views without being disrespectful. Okay, well, Europe is gonna probably be like a 3-part, 4-part.
Oh my God.
We ramble, we chit chat.
Each country we go to part.
I know, who even knows? But,
wait.
Okay.
We'll give you the opportunity to guess which countries we're going to. Okay, so let me count. 6 countries.
Yeah.
6 countries.
Take a guess, but we're gonna be going tomorrow, motherfuckers.
Ugh,
Sorry,
so
Non.
excited. Sorry, Non.
But before I forget, just
I like these.
But before I think I just gotta have like a little travel tips for you, because I clearly ran into some shit while I was getting my way over here. Since I flew into LAX, when I got into LAX, I had to go to Terminal 3. When I literally got off the plane and asked the lady right there by, like, the gate, I was like, what terminal am I in? She was like, you're in Terminal 2. And I was like, okay, sweet. I gotta find Terminal 3. I got lost, and I didn't know that the Terminal B shuttle was the shuttle that I needed to take from my gate, because I thought I was still stuck at Terminal 2. So when I asked literally 3 different people where I needed to go, and it was finally the last person that helped me get to where I needed to go. And so Terminal 2 and Terminal 3 are the same terminal. They're just like on opposite ends. So I came in on Terminal 2 and walked up kind of near where security is, and then that becomes Terminal 3. And so when I was asking the guy near the security, I was like, I need to get to Terminal 3. I'm at gate 133. How do I get there? And then he was like, well, you got to take the shuttle. This, like, because he even was like, this is confusing as hell. You're in Terminal 2 is that way, Terminal 3 is that way, but to get to the extended gates of Terminal 3, you need to take the shuttle bus that's in Terminal 2. Doesn't that sound like some fuckery shit? Fuck LAX. And so I do that. I get that. I also get a text letting me know that my gate changed from 134 to 133. So cool. I'm sitting there getting ready to go. I got like 3 hours before my flight. I go up to the guy because I'm like, yo, bro, I was in a car accident. I'm trying to get a better seat. Help a sister out. He's like, ma'am, this is going to London. I was like, well, my phone said this is for Rome. And so with that, always check the monitors. Always check the monitors that are at the airport, because they're going to be more accurate than the text, because clearly when my gate changed again from 133 to fucking 148, I didn't get the memo. So I'm literally sitting there as they're about to board. I hear over the intercom, flight to Rome, da-da-da-da-da, is now boarding. I'm booking it, running to my gate, because you just never know. They shut that shit down. They shut that shit down, and they don't give a fuck if you are 30 seconds late, a minute late. They won't let you on. So I made it. And so that was just kind of like my, like, little tips and just experience of what I went through getting over here with LAX. And I also flew Delta, which I highly recommend Delta. Love them so much. They were great. But that was it. And I think that's literally all I have to say about, like, today. I'm just so happy to be reunited with Als. And we're just going to have a fucking amazing trip.
Yep. Damn straight.
Damn straight. Okay, well, bye.
Ciao ragazze.
Ooh.